But you're just saying that I'll spend more money than you, and that's why we're going to be better.
Well, it does help a little bit, yeah.
But
we're better in the market than you.
How you're building an
we are
argument
better in the
around
market
spending
than
money.
you.
And you aren't.
We got Lloyd Kelly on a free and sold him for 30 mil.
Okay.
That is the best business that's ever done. Have you ever seen Lloyd Kelly play football? We sold him for 30 mil.
We sold Ben Doe for 25 million quid, lad.
We sold Isak for 130 million to you.
Yeah, fair play.
Isak has been the worst transfer of all time.
Oh, that's unfair. I'm sorry, it is unfair. He's had a bad season. Definitely, he's not hit the heights. But to say he's the worst signing of all time, I can't even think of worse Liverpool signings than just Isak. Alexander Isak, terrible for us. Andy Carroll, terrible for us. He hasn't even had a chance yet, and you're saying he's the worst signing in history? That is madness.
So
he's broke his leg. He can't even play footy.
To be fair, right, okay, so for someone, would you agree with this? For someone to be the worst sign of history, it would have to have a fee like that.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It would have to come with a big fee like that. I don't see Isak. I don't think he's going to be terrible like this forever for you. But I see him getting injured frequently for you, like very frequently. Yeah. I see him struggling to play into that old age, carrying these big injuries. I see him struggling to ever replicate the same form he did with us because our team was so circulated around him. He could come in and start banging goals, but it is possible for him because the price tag's there now and all the pressure's there because he's been so bad in that period and he's picked up a big serious injury. He has to go on for the next 3 seasons and be terrible for him to be there. So it might be a bit too early because you have to remember there's people like Anthony who exist.
Exactly, lads.
So like that's what I mean. Like even like that makes me want to go a bit.
Shout.
That makes me want to go there alone because Anthony. But even still, Anthony scores abroad and stuff. But it's possible, not yet, because there's not enough time. But mate, he could be there.
I know, like,
and if he's there, there would be nothing in the world that would ever make me happy.
Of course,
I promise you.
I understand it. It's like when Torres went to Chelsea. Yeah, we revelled in it.
Oh,
it was
mate,
glorious when he
by the way, it's the
back.
best thing about football because it just when people get what they deserve, it fills me with joy.
I think I agree with everything that you just said. To be quite honest with you, there's too many bad signings that have happened in this league.
Newcastle are a Big Six club.
I'm sorry, brother, and I'm going to tell you why you're not a Big Six club because you're 9th in the all-time trophies, and that doesn't put you in top 6, does it? That's just maths.
Great argument. It's great argument.
It's just maths.
That's great argument. That's great argument. My only thing on this is how are Tottenham still getting the?
I agree with that, but they've won more trophies than you, lads. No.
But like, get Tottenham out. I'm sorry, no. I understand your argument, and it's hard to fight with that. So maybe I'll go a bit agree. But if that's how you purely base off, surely today is relevant. You know what I mean?
It is.
You've right now
better football than Tottenham and Everton.
Tottenham are not a top Big Six team.
They've won more trophies. I think they're 7th actually, so they're probably not. But they've been there or thereabouts in most more recent history than you have.
Instantly,
they've been to Champions League final in the last 6 years or so.
Instantly though, your argument doesn't work then in that case. It has to be a team who are amongst that winning trophies. Right, and there's not much competition to replace Tottenham other than Newcastle because we're the ones who won it and have been amongst it for the last few seasons.
Wouldn't say because Tottenham just won a trophy, right? Do you think the Europa League is bigger than the League Cup? Answer that honestly.
No.
You think the league?
I'll tell you why. Because in the Europa League, that's like me winning a boxing fight against you, but you only have one hand.
Oh, fair play, okay.
You know what I mean? If I win the Europa League, have I beat the best teams in the world? No. Have I beat the best teams in this competition, League Cup? Yes, we beat all the best teams. There's no like the best teams don't get to play. We had to beat Chelsea, Arsenal, Liverpool, Forest when they were the best. We beat the best teams in the country.
I would say
Tottenham normally the people who win the Europa League are teams overpowering smaller teams, and the same goes for Conference League. And look, it's class because there's lots of teams who will never get the chance to win a trophy, and it's unbelievable. But for me, it's like it feels like you've ate half a sandwich.
I would say that the League Cup's much easier to win. Liverpool have got about 14 of them. We've got less European trophies. It's very difficult to win European trophies. Arsenal haven't won a single one.
Any Newcastle player would move to Liverpool if they got the chance.
Well, just before we start this, Wolf Amade got asked as soon as he joined Newcastle, what's your favourite club and what's your dream stadium? Yeah. He said Liverpool and Anfield.
Yeah, that was bad. That was bad publicity from Wolf Amade.
No, that was correct. That was absolutely correct.
Yeah, he shouldn't have done that.
There's many players in the Newcastle team that want to go and win trophies.
I agree.
Namely, Alexander Isak, the best striker, one of the best strikers you've had in your club in the Premier League era. He wanted to go to Liverpool.
Yeah,
There's no doubt about it. Your team wants to win trophies.
I actually agree. A lot of players would. The question there was any. I think there's certain players who do buy into Newcastle. There's a lot that you'll take away. Isak, I always said Isak's going. I thought he'd give us an extra season, but he never really took to the fans the same way as other players. He was always eyeing his way out, and I knew he was going. And there's other players where, even Gordon, I'm thinking, if Liverpool come knocking and offer a bit of money, he'd go, but there's certain players who are at the club for the club.
Yeah, but they didn't say every, they said any. So any player,
Dan Burn.
There's millions of them. Yeah, Bruno Guimaraes, Dan Burn, the boy from Life, yeah, they won't come, obviously. Bruno wouldn't come to us. He's a Geordie, he absolutely is. But most of your team would want to move to a team that wins the trophies. We are currently the Premier League champions.
I'd agree with that. I'd agree with that. I think you could. I'm scared of
strongly disagree.
Because Dan Burn's not going.
But he didn't say every. He said any.
I would go to
This
agree.
This is logic, by the way.
No. We need to word the question. If some, yes, some, I agree. No, I worry for players like Tino and stuff where I'm like, he's got Man City sniffing after him, and Lewis Hall, even though a Newcastle fan, so I hope that we can keep him. But yeah, it's one of the things that we have to try and combat, and we have to, especially if we have an off season now where we don't get Champions League,
as well, it's going
to mess us up.
You've got to look at even the names that have come to Liverpool from. We were just doing it before, right?
Yeah.
Gene Wijnaldum, Andy Carroll, thank you for that, lad.
Yeah.
Alexander Isak now, right? There's been a number of players that have come from Newcastle because of our ability to win trophies. We've got to win trophies. It's the be-all and end-all of football. Yeah. If you don't, then players they have a very short window in their life of playing football. They want to win as much as possible. Unfortunately for you, Newcastle have won one trophy in 70 years or something, lads. So that tells me if you've got any ambition whatsoever as a football player and you want to win things, you go to the teams that win things.
I actually disagree with that because we've won one trophy. The season before that, we were in the final. Season after that, we're in the semi-final currently. You're looking, again, to this current Newcastle team are more likely to win trophies, but I do agree there's going to be people tempted away still.
What do you want to do? Do you want to win a trophy or do you want to be a martyr for Geordies? Because that's pretty much... That's all you're going to get.
We win trophies.
You've won 1 in 7... Stop it.
We've won the same amount as you in the last year.
The Intertoto.
That counts.
Oh, the weight of the
have you ever heard of the Cell
Cup? The League Cup. The Premier League, lad. Stop it.
League Cup's class.
Stop it,
League Cup's class. I love the League Cup.
Congratulations. But stop it.
No, I agree. It's one of those things we're going to have to fight. And we have to win now.
It happens to Liverpool. You know, Real Madrid come knocking or Barcelona come knocking.
Yeah.
It happens. There's teams with pedigree. Then unfortunately, players want to play for them, and Liverpool is one of them clubs.
Newcastle will win more trophies in the next decade.
Oh, that's an interesting one, you know.
Oh my God.
That is an interesting one. You have to think about when...
It's not interesting. It's boring, mate. You haven't won a trophy for 50 years before the last one. It was 70 years. And you're talking about the next 10 years that you're going to win trophies.
Might clear you out. We're going to clear you out this year. Oh. I'm going to agree. I'm going hesitantly agree. Can I tell you why? Okay. At the moment, we can't financially compete with you, despite having the backing of the money. We've had to sell our Elliot Andersons, our Minters, and then we've replaced them with the Langer and Ramsey who haven't fit the hole because of PSR issues. Once PSR goes away, our scope to spend is absolutely endless. Like you said yourself, like the way Liverpool spent at this window isn't like Liverpool. And I think it's safe to say you just won't continue like that. We could, if we get the commercial side up, which is rapidly increasing, have that money to spend. And look at what we've achieved without all the money, whilst just spending like a normal Premier League club. I mean, we've already got our trophy. We're in we're in Champions League, semi-final as things stand in the League Cup and the FA Cup. We're fighting at the top, and this is without all the money that yous have been spending.
You think you're going to win more trophies than Liverpool, the most successful club in the country, the current champions, in the next 10 years?
I think it's a possibility, yeah. I feel like you have to look at where do you think Newcastle is in 5 years? PSR is not going to be an issue in 5 years. The rules might even change in the next year and a half with how things are going. Once you unlock that, mate, we are the richest club in the year, and we are the richest club in the world, and it's not even close. And that money,
you're talking about money, and Liverpool have just spent a whole bunch of it, and are we any better for it? Exactly. So that's your argument trumped already.
I actually disagree, because when Newcastle have spent, we have spent brilliantly. Can you think of any signing since the takeover that has been really poor?
I say Anthony Gordon like this now. This season has been really poor.
Do you think we could sell him for profit now?
For 50 mil? No.
I think we could sell him to 70 mil to you. Bruno G coming in, Trippier, shrewd business, Voltemada. I mean, it's great business across the board. Where you look at Liverpool, you aren't as good in the transfer market. You're going for more names. So I'm confident. Look,
I think Liverpool
it's a long
excellent in the
shot.
transfer window. Like, we bought Mo Salah for 35 million,
How much
bought
was
Mane
Isak?
for 30. Yeah, Isak's not been great, but we'll get on to that one
130
later. Yeah, and we made a dynasty off them cheap buys. So I think we are pretty good.
Look, it's a
buying
long
players.
one. It is a long shot, but I don't think it. I feel like again. You're talking about the past. Look at what we did all in the past. It's completely irrelevant when you apply to what the question is, which is the next 10 years. The past means absolutely nothing.
Well, you're just saying that I'll spend more money than you, and that's why we're going to be better.
Well,
than
it
you.
does help a little bit, yeah.
But as I just said, Liverpool have just spent the most money in a transfer window, and we're not any better for
But
it.
we're
So I
better in the
don't
market than
understand
you.
how you're
'Cause
building an
we are
argument
better in the
around
market
spending
than
money.
you.
And you aren't. Because as I've just said,
I think we go off.
As I've just said, we bought Mo Salah for 30 million, we bought Mane for 30.
We got Lloyd Kelly on a free and sold him for 30 mil.
Okay.
That is the best business that's ever done. Have you ever seen Lloyd Kelly play
sold
football? We
Ben
sold him
Doak-
for 30
We
mil.
sold Ben Doak for 25 million quid, lad.
We sold
Brad
Isak for
Smith.
130 million to you.
Yeah, fair play, but you would have literally, you would be on your knees right now for Isak if he was still in your team, mates. I don't know why you're acting like you still didn't want him. You just didn't want to let him go. He was in HMP.
So maybe
Newcastle.
the team, maybe
So
you're the
that's why
problem.
we had to spend-
Maybe you're the problem
I
because
wouldn't
we could
say-
use Isak and you couldn't.
So that was a long old debate. The Domino's is here. I'm
Yeah.
ready to eat. You ready, lads?
Yeah, mate.
I'm having the garlic sauce, though, mate, unfortunately.
That's fine. What do you think then for the score?
We are your bogey team, mate, and I think Liverpool are going to win as a result, and I think it's going to be 2-1 because you will score.
Our away form as well, mate. It's not what you want to see. I'm going 2-2. I think we'll get a point, and do you know what? That's a class result for us.